The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Long before the sects divided, there was the enveloping darkness. It was in this dark humanity learned to trust the light, to run from shadows, and most importantly, to fear.
Brutality and superstition walked hand in hand in this dark time, but also hope. Hope that the heroes of this age could hold back the monsters and illuminate the path through the shadows.
The children of Cain are no different. Some run from the shadows, some turn to the light, and some become the monsters of legend passed down from one hearth to another.
Their story is one of loss, one of struggle, and one of death. For what can survive in the wake of those that cannot die?
This is what it means to be a myth made flesh. This is what it means to be a vampire in the Dark Ages.
Welcome to our Vampire Dark Ages stream. We here at McStabber Studios understand that some of the subjects that come up during this chronicle are problematic by modern standards. Our goal is to handle these kinds of situations in a manner that does not directly or indirectly glorify these kinds of actions. While we understand that we are playing in a world of monsters, that does not mean we must be the monsters ourselves. Please also be aware, none of our cast are experts in history. That means there will be some deviations between the real world timeline and the vampiric world. You can go ahead and chalk that up to the Cainite influence on the mortals around them. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy our story. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios' Vampires Dark Ages, Glimpses of History. I am, of course, the storyteller, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Mama McStabber, and I will be playing Elena, Soren daughter of Clan Lesumber.
I am Zachary Naldret, he, him. I will be playing Miguel Tanner, also he, him, of the Clan of the Beast.
I'm Jeannie Van Esch, and I'm playing Peregrine McSullivan of Clan Asimite, but people believe I'm a Toreador.
Hello, I'm Maddox, and I will be playing Snatcher of Clan Nosferatu.
Hi everybody, I'm the Ravnos Archon, and I will be playing Agustin de la Cruz, Clan La Sombra.
Oh, good. You finally shortened it. Probably forgot what your full name was. I'll just go with that.
I got it. I will give you the full name next time.
Okay. Welcome to episode 4, everybody. When we were last with the newly formed coterie of Cainites from the 12th century, they had finally met with Prince Radu, the Count of Bistritz. And then from there, they were sent up to Huda Pass to go and set up their new fortress. Finally, they got what you could call an eventful trip to get there. But when they arrived, they found somebody was already there digging into the foundations. It was Anatole and Lucida. Lucida, who happens to have a relation to two members of this particular coterie. And as they assisted them to dig down, they found a series of clay tablets in a hidden room. Clay tablets that they also found a translation key for. The translation was dangerous. And if you want to see what the translation actually was, I'm not going to read it again, pop over to our Discord and you'll see it because I've pinned it to the chat for Dark Ages. But where we open up, same night, because I know Miguel was planning to scout down the pass a bit. It is getting late, but it's not so late that he can't go down to scout. So before we get into what everybody else is doing, let me get Miguel to roll. What do you think you want to roll for this scouting expedition?
Was Elena also coming with me?
That's up to her.
I believe as you are walking past her, because she's facing east, basically, staring out across basically to her homeland, she would ask you, Miguel, do you wish company?
I am going just to ensure there's nothing unexpected in the road ahead of us. If you wish to come, I will not protest.
It may be of benefit to have someone that speaks the language. Just in case. You are looking at my homeland.
What language do these people speak?
Slavionic.
Then yes, it may be of benefit. Although I wasn't planning on speaking too much to begin with, but yes, that does sound like it would help.
All right.
Just in case.
Let me gather my horse.
Okay. So you're going to go and get your horse. Now, it's not a problem with your horse. What do you plan to roll for the two of you when you're going to scout ahead? I like to let the players figure what you think would be appropriate.
So because I'm looking out for things around me, probably alertness is like the goal is to get a lay of the land and see what's around. So
perception alertness will work for you.
All right. And I will have of course specs on for this ride.
Heightened senses, amplify your sight.
And
I would say, and others.
And I do have the attentiveness or attentive specialty.
Okay, so you can use your specialty. Elena, what are you doing? What are you rolling?
Honestly, Elena's just going to follow his lead.
Okay.
I figure if something comes up that she has to speak to someone, then she'll have to roll something. But
so you're going to let him do the actual watching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If I see her prepping her horse, can I slide over to Elena real quick?
Of course you can. You see her prepping her horse.
Okay. Dame Elena, please, a moment before you take off. I am not good with the situation, given our shared father's other child being present here. Should I have her wait for you to come back? You have more insight into Ambrosio than either one of us.
Well, she has already said that she will stay the day with us.
Correct. But should this trip take longer, I don't want your wisdom to go unheard.
If we are not back before dawn, there are bigger problems than where Lucita is.
True, but...
Understood.
I imagine we will be back before dawn. But in case we are not, yes, have her wait.
Of course. No, bow and step away.
Thank you. And she prepares her horse and walks it to the end of the plateau, really, of this pass.
To the opening in the pass,
Mm-hmm.
to where it gets narrow. At the narrow point, you could fit a cart, a wagon. You couldn't fit more than 2 carts abreast through it. at the narrow point. It does get narrower in spots on your end. And as you two set off to go down the pass, we're going to come back to you while I find out what everybody else is doing.
Honestly, probably just walking back towards the basement area after being really confused by Anatoly.
Okay. And Peregrine, you are still in the basement area. You're the only one still in there. So when Snatcher comes back in, what does he see Peregrine doing?
Finishing up the last of the translations and wrapping the gold tablet up, like in the cloth that it was found in, being very silent and being very protective and cautious of it, but almost like she's turning around to do something like say goodbye to it. But this is probably the most stoic and unemotional you've seen her.
Hey, storyteller.
Yes.
Some perception and empathy sounds like a fun roll right now.
Go ahead. Don't think she's trying to hide anything, so I won't make it an opposed roll. So go ahead.
Nope.
Oh, wonderful. Only 1-1. That's beautiful. All right, so 2 successes.
2 successes?
Just looking for general, emotional state, mainly.
I think it's as she described. There's a bit of regret is all you can really pick up. Resignation in some ways.
Hey.
Do you need to be alone?
Been that way for 500 years. What is up?
I hadn't seen what we found. I had to take a small detour.
Well, you want to see it before it gets destroyed? Come on over.
Destroyed?
Hey.
There, as much as it's concern, there is now some curiosity. What would we need to destroy?
It's not why, it's, well, some people will call it heresy or heretic language and thoughts. But we need the money. As much as I want to give it away and save it, comes down to brass tacks, and we need to afford this whole thing.
Why do you wish to save it?
It's a written word.
Can people not write more?
This is to help you translate the tablets that were taken out. And what was said on the tablets caused a couple of us to be rather skittish.
Some dark words?
Aye. When you're a pagan like me, you get used to everyone being so superstitious because of their own faith and beliefs. Because of the new religion going about. But I learned that words are only thoughts and ideas. And ironically enough, this person is just boasting about their own power and such. But
common for Canaanites.
Aye, it is an old one. The language is old. But this is solid gold, and we don't have much coin, and we don't want to be in debt to the others that gave us money, eh?
It's just interesting that you're both unattached to material and heavily attached to it. You said that writings are thoughts and ideas. If you've witnessed it, then it's never gone. So what does a tablet offer you?
This is fallible. When you write it down, it becomes solid. You can pass it on to the generations. You can pass the written word. These I cannot save. This is something that's set in stone. But if you pass a book down and you send it on over and over and gets reworked and the stories keep going, the legends keep on, the thoughts and ideas of what I thought of 500 years ago are still relevant and here in the moment. It's like my people didn't die at all. They're still here. It's preservation. It's the oldest form of preservation we have.
I always assumed longevity to be a curse.
But the writers of 500 years ago are standing right here in this room with you. And you don't even know it.
When I look down at this tablet, this might be stretching it a little bit. In wits, I have a specialization of valued targets.
No, because your specialization in value targets was actually aimed at people specifically. Or
fair point.
Breaking and entering targets kind of a thing because of your life on the street. I don't think
I'm sure I can look at it and tell, oh, gold, but beyond that, I don't think
you can always roll
necessarily, but
I always will let you roll. You know?
I honestly wouldn't mind it if you're allowing it.
Oh, I always allow you to roll.
Just to figure out something else about, like, the people have figured out words and all that stuff, and I'm, like, is there any way, I'm not the best with math, obviously, but is there any way I could check to see if I can figure out, like, how much this might sell for, or just gold-wise how much it is worth?
Sure.
What would you want me to roll for that shit?
Looking to see.
Unfortunately,
what you have.
I'm thinking intelligence might be the attribute I use. Great.
Which is going to be painful. Intelligence investigation, perhaps. Actually, I will let you go. Intelligence ledger domain.
You saint! Thank you.
Because one of the parts of stealing is fencing.
I like that you're thinking monetarily in Maddox terms, whereas Natural would have looked at that and been like, "That's a house," instead of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty will be 6.
That's a whole block.
She's like, that's a whole set of workers we could use.
2 successes. I seem to be on a 2 kick tonight.
2 successes. With 2 successes, you know it's not Libra, which is the coin of the realm here, but it's gold. And gold has a universal trade value. And you know it must be worth a good chunk.
I will admit, I do not know enough of the situation to comfort you properly. But if nothing else, you could copy it down. You have a notebook. I've seen you writing in it.
I did. I copied it as best I could. It's just everything about my life is either in a book or they die one way or another. And to see something like this and I know that I have to destroy it, I might not be as emotional as y'all think I am, but this is emotion at my core where it kills me to have to destroy it. Pains me to the point of I know I'm going to regret it for quite some time now, and I don't even care about their stupid superstitions and whatever. I'm doing this on the practicality that we need the money. Otherwise, I just ship this off and let it get disappeared. But our survival comes first, unfortunately.
If it is heresy, the knowledge itself, I find, tends not to be the damaging bit. It's those who come after you for knowing it.
Well, the heresy is that it actually exists. That people could read it and know what the words were said.
Yes, but
That's...
most forget existence is heretical.
Yeah.
We do not live in good times. No one does.
Actually,
Even
you're
the
living
wealthy are fighting over power.
You're living in actually pretty good times at the moment, at least from where I'm sitting.
Comparatively, that's because we are placed above humanity. We aren't.
I was a ghoul for what? How long? I saw how they lived. High and mighty and all above. But still the places of the world. I mean, hell, when William Conqueror came about, that was a whole shit show. You remember that? No, you don't. You weren't alive. It was a whole shit show, I can tell you that.
I will take your word.
Charlemagne! That was even a worse shit show. Please tell me you know who that is.
I've heard the name.
Okay, good. Some people don't, some people, you know.
History was never something I found interesting. History
And yet-
didn't feed you at the end of the day.
And yet you're going to be a part of it now.
Bollocks.
I would never eat that.
And for as much as you need to play pretend, I'll admit, if nothing else, you have a mentality of a Toreador. Whatever you feel that's worth from me.
Yeah. Preserving a written word, which is an art form that we're going to be using for God knows how long.
I'm going to gesture to the crumbling papers on the various shelves. Not all words survive.
Oh, I know. Tell
But
that
even
to the
if-
Library of Alexandria.
That I don't know. Whatever that would be.
I got to take you to Egypt. Oh my God.
Egypt, What?
Aye, Egypt. It's south of here. Oh, we south. But it's a grand place with this big old Nile. It's a river. And never say you're in the Nile because that is actually a river. Anyhow, it's a joke. You'll get it one day.
Perhaps at a later decade when we have some free moments to ourselves.
Oh, we're talking centuries from what they're doing for us. We're not going to be free for at least a couple of centuries.
Shite. Well,
No, there's no bathroom here, but if you have to, you could go in the forest somewhere, but don't stay too long.
not in the slightest what I meant.
I know. I have to make a joke somehow because I'm ready to cry and I don't like anyone seeing me cry anyhow. So,
Blood stains skin as much as it does anything else.
that's why you use the black. Don't
This
ever
is-
say white colors are good. Just go black, you'll find. Dip it in. Oh, no one will know it's bread.
Before I received these clothes from Cervicos,
Eh?
I had simply worn the shirt I was embraced in. There was no reason to change. It turned dark after time.
She just gently says several things in Irish because she can. Look, you're going to have to play a part, and that means changing clothes,
Oh, I understand that now.
bathing. Bathing is actually ironically something you should do.
I will admit it wasn't an entire habit, but I was lectured on it quite a few times, even as a mortal.
Aye, diseases.
I never got sick.
Doesn't matter. You can be a carrier of a disease and transport it to something else. There was a whole thing in Dublin many centuries ago where people were carrying virus to other people. And if you didn't wash up, you were carrying it to somebody else. The cook and the housemaid died because they were carrying it back between each other.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Well, they died about 400 years ago, but I appreciate it. let's just say this. I always look at a situation, facts and head on. Even though I'm upset, I can't let my emotions be decided on what we've got to do and what's going to keep us going. This will feed the villagers and get us people to build this whatever and do what we can.
It will be magnificent when it's built.
I've seen things rise and fall. For as long as they make it, I'll be there.
I'm going to, not hard because I'm not that strong, but just a pretty boisterous like smack on the back or shoulder. If it helps, this is not the first, last, or even probably any number in between loss of knowledge that you will witness in your time.
Oh, and she'll gently kind of do it back. But she knows her own strength, so she's not really going to do it. She's going to like, he can feel it, just like a little bop. I know. I've lost many a book in my life. This is history, and this is something that just, it's like giving up a kid. And I've never had one of those, so books are my kids, I guess.
I can sympathize. Maybe not with the reading part. I've never been good at that.
You're gonna be. I'm gonna teach you. And if you say no, too bad. The more you all learn how to read, the more we all can handle it together.
That was the other part I came to ask you about.
Eh?
What can I offer all of you?
What do you know about your clan?
A lot more than I'm willing to share.
Oh, I mean, I'm not asking for the deep dark secrets of the Nosferatu.
I have none to offer you, not on that front.
But your clan talents. No, your clan talents. You and I can disappear. So, eavesdropping's a good thing. You could talk to the animals and such, eh? You can have a whole bunch of stream full of rats listening in on different conversations. You could be an information network.
Are there that many rats in Transylvania?
I don't know. Do you want to go down into the village and go look? I'll go with you.
All right.
I mean, we can be super sneaky and just disappear. Or you want to just quietly, oh, you're my nephew.
Your unsightly, clearly doesn't even remotely sound Irish nephew.
Well, I can have an English nephew. It's not that hard to push about. Our clans always mix together. And being that I'm the traveler and the writer, it doesn't really hurt to know somebody, close enough. And if you feel better, we could speak in English. So they really will know that we're tourists and try to pick our pockets.
And in English, I'm going to respond with, they can try.
Oh, hi. I don't have a pockets in here. And if they try to touch something, well, they might lose an arm.
Let's go see what animals are around the villages. That's at least a start of something to do.
Do we have to give this to Augustine? Will he take care of it, or should I just have my goal do it?
I leave that decision to you.
Always decisions, swear. We need a committee.
A decisive committee.
Aye.
As someone who comes from monarchy, they are not run well.
I came from a chieftain. What you talking about?
Similar experience, although...
I would like to have gone through the Greek system. They have a democracy from what I was hearing, and they vote for everything. I don't know what it's like to vote, but you could have done it. They let the men do it. Women can't.
I was never a man that was seen as valuable, not to most of the people.
You got 2 heads, don't you? You were valuable.
Yeah, that's natural. Because just going to start walking with her to the village. Just nothing else to say on that shit.
Well, Peregrine and Snatcher were talking. Augustine, Lucida, he came up to
Here
you
we go.
wielding a pair of poignards. Tiny, well, not tiny, long, thin daggers. Are we going to spar, brother? You'll find I've gotten better.
You did ask, Señorita Lucita, the little light of Aragon. If you have time, I do not want to take you away from your associate.
Oh, he'll stare at the stars for hours to come, looking for another vision.
No.
You get used
They come
to it
to
when
him
you're around
then.
it.
He doesn't have to go looking for them. They come to him.
Of course.
Such a nice way of living, I think.
It is exciting. And
Do
she
you mind
takes-
if
and the
Mario
cloak that she's
watches?
been wrapped around her, she pulls off and sets to the side.
Should I be wearing my armor?
Not unless you think you need it. She grins.
Very well. As is then. And I'll remove my cloak as well.
Okay. Give me Dex plus Brawl or Dex plus Melee. I just want to see how many successes you get to compare to hers to see how the sparring goes.
Sure. This is going to be a flat roll, like no
Yeah, difficulty
actual.
6.
No, but I mean, like, we're not surging or anything, are we?
I
Like,
mean,
we're just
that's your
testing
choice
each other?
if you choose to search.
No, I think I want to test how she is mortal-wise. Okay. My dice want to betray me already. Only 2 successes because I got 2 1s. Otherwise, it would have been 4.
As it starts off, it's been a while since you've sparred
Actually,
with
3
her.
because one of them is a 10. Sorry, 3.
3? It's been a while since you sparred with her. Starts off promising. But then you realize that her natural grace with her lithe body, she has learned to move in ways that makes it very hard to get your sword close, especially with her dual wielding at the time. Several of your attacks are parried, thrust aside, and you begin to see she's getting the better of you.
Oh, you have come a long way.
You going to continue without surging, or are you going to surge and continue?
I'll surge, I think. Do I sense that she's surged for
She
this?
does not seem to be moving with any unnatural speed.
You say she's using a dual wielding style.
Yep.
So she's got to get close.
Yes, she does. But her natural,
Okay.
her natural agility, her lithe frame lets her move very quickly, even without. If she's using supernatural power, I'll tell you, it's very subtle.
Okay. I'm not gonna surge. But I do want to try to lull her in close, so that in the last moment when she's about to go for one of my openings, I want to use Nocturne to just blanket everything in darkness and turn the tables on her.
Okay. I like that idea with the Nocturne. Let's see.
I want to see what she knows about our disciplines.
At first, you're going to need manipulation and occult with difficulty 7. So let's get that out of the way.
Got it. Baby, I love the way. That's 3 successes.
Okay. So each success adds 10 feet, each additional success. Please rouse your blood.
Mm-hmm.
But now roll your
so
melee skill. I want to see how you did with your dex melee this time.
So I got hungrier. Oh God, every single time with these ones. 2 successes again.
This time,
Hurting.
it's fairly matched. You managed, now that you've gotten adjusted to her fighting style, you managed to keeping her at bay while also making her change her tactics to try to avoid getting caught by your longer weapon. But when the darkness comes up, you manage to thump her with the flat of the blade. And you hear, it's hard to hear in this thing, but she obviously said it loud enough that even in the muffled sounds, you hear her curse. Do you let it drop once you've managed to connect?
No, I'm going to thump her again before I drop it.
Okay. In the darkness, it's clear she has not learned to see yet through the darkness, because she starts immediately backpedaling to try to clear your shell when you manage to land a strike, one more thump on her. And you can see the look of disappointment in her face. And when you drop it, she looks angry, but in control. I should have expected that. That is the problem with all of my duels being against mortals or Anatole. Well done, brother. Well done.
We have to use our gifts, little light. Remember why you are named such. You may come from the shadows, but you are the light of Aragon.
But I have improved.
Vastly. I am no longer afraid for your health in the wilderness.
I remember a time when I couldn't come close to you.
You've come far.
I have.
But do not stop. And although you have a knack for the mundane, you have to start learning to use what Moncada has given you.
I'll admit my focus on that power of the blood has been lacking. I've been focusing on other things to help us more in our travels. But you've taught me a lesson here.
Even the weakest ability with our gift is still very strong if used correctly.
I get the impression her sister doesn't like me.
If I could be honest with you, I don't think she likes anyone. But she also comes from a different time. There is wisdom there that has to be tapped.
I know. I was told by the bishop. Do you know he still calls himself that?
I believe it.
I was told by him that hers is the path of ruling.
Yes, it is true.
Kind of hoped I'd take that path eventually.
I mean, no disrespect to you, little light, but you are not a ruler of men.
And she gets... It's hard to describe. There's a glint in her eyes. There's other ways to rule. I can't be a ruler. One day I'll be a hunter. We'll see what Father thinks of that. Maybe that will meet his approval.
I don't think there is anything that meets his approval.
That I think you are correct on. Well, where has your little friend gotten off to? She seems to be looking around.
Are you talking about Mario?
No, the long, black-haired lady. The one who said this was her family's place. Where has she gotten off to now?
She needed some time to think, to register the coming home. Can be difficult for some people.
At least that I can understand.
You say you want to be a hunter. Maybe this is your chance. Find where she has gone for us. I'm sure that would be looked upon favorably with Dama Elena.
I will. And you see her draw the shadows up on her, not what you threw, but just draw the shadows darkening around her a bit as she sets off into the ruins. Now we're flashing over to Elena and Miguel. You all are heading down the pass. Do you need a period of time to talk as you're going down? I will tell you, Miguel, you notice that it's a stone path through the mountain. It's not, there's some dirt, but a lot of it is stone with a bit of dirt over top of it. But there are ruts into the stone in places from so many carts over the years passing through that it's obvious this is a well-used pass. You can see it clearly at night, even through your heightened senses.
Well used as in it's like still currently in use, or as in like, can I get a sense of how, like, is it old and disrepaired, but it was used at one point, or is it?
The path is kept clear. Even where a rock fall, you can see places where it'd be possible for a rock fall. People keep it clear of rocks on the path, it's narrow in places, but they obviously keep it clear to make sure trade goes through. Now, you don't know who might be doing it. It's entirely possible whoever's bringing their wagons through here are clearing it as they go to make sure it stays clear. You do notice places overlooking the pass where you're walking that are seems to be flattened areas. Your guess would possibly be outposts used to stand there at some point, long since gone. Elena, you don't have anything to see clearly at night, do you? You're just relying on the moonlight?
Mm-hmm.
Then you wouldn't notice those.
Somebody's been keeping this pass up.
I imagine the traders.
I imagine we may need to discuss with the villagers what their relationship with the traders are.
It has been centuries, but if my people have continued what was started, trade is definitely something they do. And if they hold no rulership over this area, it is exclusively trade. But my question with that is, who made the agreements?
It's something we will need to learn, I suppose. I imagine the people here have some connection with the traders. Otherwise,
They must be trading with the villages on the other side.
quite possible. I wonder how far their trade network goes.
It is a good question.
You had mentioned in passing, I believe you had said you had converted as a
Greek Orthodox. It was.
Do you believe their teachings, or was that something that you did out of survival?
It was something I did to thrive. And so that my people would thrive. Our closest neighbors at the time was Constantinople. Our most lucrative trade agreements were with Constantinople. I could see which way the world was going. So, I was a widowed queen, no longer ruling as my son had aged and taken rulership. I was sent as envoy. The Byzantine emperor at the time wished to marry me. But I would have to convert. I had already married one idiot in my life. I had no desire to marry another. So, I convinced the emperor that I would convert, only he had to baptize me himself, so that we would be family under his own religious rules. And he could not marry me. But I brought the religion home. My son did not convert, but I taught my grandson before my death. And he converted Kievan Rus to Greek Orthodox Catholicism. When he took his princedom, I went into torpor shortly after. You see, my son had died. It was a convenient time for me to slip, so that I could get my sire to leave me the freak alone. Another idiot. Kept touting I was the Holy Queen. Insane. I am nothing but a woman who did what must be done. For herself, for her children, for her people.
That is definitely a quite humble way of looking at it. Lessers would fully embrace the Holy Queen in your position. It's quite admirable of you to take the high road when that came about.
I don't want to be worshipped. I just want people to fucking listen to me. I don't speak unless I know what I'm saying. So, humility, maybe. I don't consider it such. It's just truth.
Brings us, there's the philosophical question, if good deeds are done by methods that are intentions that are not to be done, of not intended to do good, but good deeds are done anyways. Does it matter? Does the intention matter, or is the fact that is all that is important?
Well, it depends, I believe, on perspective. The perspective of a victim of an atrocity will not see it as a benevolent act, but the perspective of those that benefit from the atrocity will see it as a benevolent act. And I did orchestrate some atrocities for my people.
But has the good outweighed those atrocities?
I believe that is still left to be seen. Let's see if my people survive the oncoming Mongol horde.
Storyteller, how close are we to the first village?
You're coming up on a side path now that you're pretty sure would lead down into the valley where the villages are located. The side path, it's wide enough for a single cart, but not more than one at a time. You don't see the well-worn tracks there that you see of the main pass.
I am of a mind to continue on as far as we can travel before having to return and escape the curse of Michael.
That is fine.
Going to just make a note and continue on down the path.
And as you continue down, you do come across a few spots that have larger clearings where, due to the shape of the way the mountain cuts in the path, areas where you're pretty sure, based on where you can see burnt markings on the stone, camps have been set up before. But going down further, you don't find much of anything through here, other than you come across the second path that leads down into the valley. You suspect that would lead to the other. You're not sure if it's one or two villages close together in the valley or not. But it also only has width for a single wagon to move down.
The rats here are not necessarily coming from these ways that often. There might be a larger settlement, possibly even city, further that sends trade.
That's quite possible. Although if they're just trading between villages, I wouldn't imagine they would need...
Many, that's true. And with the weather in this region, it is probably wise to travel light.
Agreed.
I can send one of my retainers to parley with these villagers. He speaks the language. See if there's able-bodied workers that might need some gold.
Storyteller, from the past, can we see enough of the villages, or are the paths too far
It's too dark.
off?
You know the villages are there. You can barely catch, with your heightened senses, you can barely catch
Like smoke?
a little, no, not smoke, but a little flickering torchlight. It's not like on the other side of the pass where there was obviously some sort of festival going because there were bonfires burning in the center of both villages, bright enough that everyone could see. On this side, very little light, but
So eyes of the beast, does that change how much I can see?
Eyes of the Beast with heightened senses because they're not exclusive.
Ooh,
They're not
that's a
exclusive.
combo.
So heightened senses is probably going to give a better, like, for picking out details.
Right, you'd
Well,
use Eyes of the Beast to make it easier to see at night, and then
to make
heightened
it-
senses to
Yeah.
make it look clear.
Yeah.
You can pick out all three villages from here because they've cleared farmland around all three. So the trees that would normally block your view aren't blocking the view nearly as much because of all that cleared farmland. They're actually close enough together, you suspect they can support each other in times of crisis. But as for what you can pick out, you mainly are picking up lights that are reflecting from chimneys or out of chimneys where they are built, smoke to come out, and it's the reflecting of a light that's lit inside the place, inside their various hovels. They're not, you would guess they're not even made of stone except for the chimney, a stone chimney with a wooden house around it.
No clear inns or
No.
center of town or religious buildings or anything
Your
like
guess
that, though.
would be, based on the size of it, you traveled a long time. You would guess each one of these villages, maybe 60 to 80 people each village. Not big enough for an inn or anything like that. Typical Transylvanian farming village from which you've traveled, where most likely they don't trade much outside the village. They grow and attempt to do everything they can and be self-sustaining.
When you send your retainers to speak with them, have them inquire to what sort of goods and products that they may be able to grow and sell in a market. These small villages may not have the ability to trade in large quantities. But if there was a fort with a central
Market.
trading,
I see.
they may be able to increase their standard of living, so to speak.
And we collect taxes from said market.
Something along those lines. I didn't deal with the finances. I did.
Yeah.
I had a person for that.
I had to ensure that neighboring tribes paid their tribute. So, yes, I think that is a good idea, Miguel. And even your goods could be sold as well.
It would take little time to build up a proper location to hone my craft out here.
Yeah. With enough will, anything can be done. Shall we turn back?
Yeah, we've made it about halfway, or halfway through the night.
Yeah, if you want to make sure. You're not exactly sure when the sun will peak above the mountains at this point because you haven't been exactly in this spot. You have a fair estimate that you're pretty sure if you turn back now, there's enough of a buffer just in case.
Just going to glance out past the third village to see if there's anything of note.
No. Other than what I've described, there's a few spots where caravans or trains of wagons could stop to rest, most likely to rest the animals. They'd have to bring their own feed. A few spots where you think perhaps there might have been lookout towers at one point or some sort of something was built there, though long since gone. And that's it.
All right, yeah.
And as you all head back, Snatcher and Peregrine, you head down to the village nearby, one of the two, the closest of the two. The fire is still going, so you don't get too close, but you do find, yes, they are also a farming community. There's rats.
Hey, told you.
Furthest afield I've ever been. Wasn't sure. Just general vibe. People seem like they're happy about this festival. Does it feel like they're sort of like doing the forced smile thing, or
they're singing? You can hear it. You're not close enough to really get on in it and hear what they're singing, but you can hear the singing. You can see people dancing around the fire.
Peregrine will note to see if there is a blacksmith.
No.
No.
Nothing that you can see as you're prowling about.
What kind of shops are there?
No shops.
No shops.
This is another farming village. You've been placed in the middle of a bunch of farming villages.
Well,
there will be ample
wasn't sure if there
things
like
to eat for Kindred.
Yeah.
But they have no real trade to speak of other than whatever foods they're growing. Probably some middling woodcraft. You are in the land of forests. There's a lot of wood handy.
I'm gonna have to find a blacksmith somewhere.
I don't think setting up any sort of organization to take from these people would do much. There's nothing to take from.
Oh, no. This is more of they're the unskilled workers that are going to be doing more of the building and the tutting and the pushing and the plowing and all of that. We're using their muscle, not their brains. To be crude, I mean, do you see a school about here? They're not educated. Though, if we can get some skilled workers in here to teach them, maybe they can learn a trade or two. Maybe we can up that woodworker. He can build furniture and such. We do need a blacksmith, that's for sure.
I have no idea if Zelios would tutor humans on stonemasonry.
We have trained craftsmen for that. They teach them build on the education if it works.
You all seem to have so much more patience than I do. They say it comes with age, but we don't.
You don't think I haven't aged?
I'm sure you've existed as long as you've been around, but you do not seem like some withered husk of what you once were.
I'm going to point out, since you're on foot, it is getting closer to dark, and you have to turn back.
She'll just gently
Sorry,
tap his
closer
head.
to light. Sorry,
Yeah.
reversed.
She'll tap his head going, that's what ages.
Did you do the top or like the side, by the way?
Right here. A temple.
Does not feel like skin underneath.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like an unattractive guy, but it's not, no, there's no squish.
As you're heading back, Snatcher, you realize, in stark contrast to earlier in your journey, there is a lot of wolves prowling about in the valley.
Oh, I thought you were saying on the edges of town. I'm like, who's sicking wolves on our people before we even have the shit built?
No, in the valley. You hear their echoing calls. More than you would expect.
This I did expect from Transylvania, although not so many. All at once.
Augustine and his sister get down and get ready for the sun.
And storyteller, if I happen to see just any animal that I can have a quick check in, yo, what's with all the wolves? But unnecessary to have a scene for it.
The wolves, none of them are approaching close enough that you can see them. There's answering calls. You would almost swear that they're communicating with each other. Almost.
Remind me to speak to Miguel when I can.
Aye. Should we let Augustine and his sister know that there's a lot more wolves around? There needs to be.
If they don't hear this in some form, I'll be shocked, but yes, we should tell them.
I heard them clanging swords earlier. It's not like they're really focused on anything else, but, sparring.
At that point, I'll just shrug and roll my eyes. Hi, clans, and then keep going down the path.
Yeah, she'll go looking for them.
And as you return to camp, you get there about the time as Elena and Miguel come back. Augustine, you didn't see Lucida again, nor did you see Sherazina. But as dawn is approaching, everyone has to gather down in the cellar. Though oddly enough, Anatoly does not go down there, neither does Lucida. 1 minute, Anatoly's there, and the next minute, you don't know where he went. But I'll give you all a brief scene before we go to break as you have gathered once again down in the cellar where you know the door is closed. The stone door that has a hidden latch. As you're gathered in a spot where you're safe for daylight.
Oh, did we also return?
Yes, you all came back
Okay.
too.
Did we hear the wolves?
No, not on your side. Can't really hear them from up here, but you could sure hear them down in the valley.
Did the wolves start when we were still close to the village, or
Yes.
was it as we got closer to the path, the pass?
You'd heard them the moment you got down into the valley, but it's when you got to the village and was coming back that you started noticing the answering calls from different packs.
What did you two find?
There are 3 villages. on the Rus side, down the pass. They are small. Seem fairly self-sustaining, possibly support each other in lean times. Likely do not have enough to trade in any quantities. However, there may be some who would be interested in work. So I will send one of mine who speaks a language down during the day.
Do they need guards or any such?
Does not appear so. They are ruts. Miguel, will you tell them about the pass?
There's a clearly planned pass. Each of the villages run off. The pathway to the village was made by cart and horse. The passage from here down to those villages were made by hand out of stone. Were lookouts, sentry points along this pass that are no longer there. They all appear to be farming communities, fairly self-sufficient from the looks of things.
Just crops, or was there animals as well?
Storyteller?
You didn't hear any animals on that side, other than, normal nighttime rustling, but nothing that struck you as odd.
But the farmers didn't have, was it crops, or was there...
All you could see from up
did
there
somebody have a big farm?
Is all farming, agricultural based.
You mean plants?
Yeah,
Okay.
agricultural based, yeah.
Okay.
Agricultural can also be animals.
I would go husbandry for animals in this era.
Okay.
All right, so it's more based for the actual growing
It is
side.
possible they had some animals that would be blocked by some of the houses.
Yes.
Or they
It's
might
possible
bring
they
them in
have, sheep and things like that.
Or they could even be in the house.
Yeah, because
depending.
it's night and we heard a shitload of wolves. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If there was
Sheep,
if
goats.
they have animals that they bring them in for the night.
My initial ideas for rounding up any thieves, I think, are dead in the water at this point.
Why is that?
Because the things these people value do not get stolen.
True. We are talking rural habitation.
I'm still too used to London.
Yes.
Each of these towns might have a single person who likes to pilfer.
That's true.
I believe for
Yes.
now I'm going to improve speaking with wildlife. It's a decent direction for me to work in for now.
We really didn't hear any that I noticed. Did you notice, Miguel?
There was nothing out of the ordinary as far as animals for this region.
Peregrine, would you say that what we had was then the opposite of that statement? There was a rather large quantity of wolf calls that we could hear. Closer to the village we visited than the pass, but still. it was a large portion of wolves.
Were you followed?
Not as far as I could tell. They all seemed distant enough that they weren't upon us. But I do not understand how wolves work. I have not seen many wild, truly wild animals in my time.
Miguel's going outside.
Okay.
He wants to take a look around before settling in for the morning.
What are you looking for?
I am looking for generally just anything that seems out of place as far as what we, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the people that came with us. I'm not going to pay too much attention if I see Lucia and Anatole. If I see signs that there might be animals nearby, despite the people moving around, that sort of thing.
You don't really see any signs of animals up here around this fortress. You don't see anywhere that scat. You don't see any sign of dens or lairs. There's a few dead birds in the around the foundation of the building. That's about it. But with Snatcher mentioning it, you can barely hear, because I know you run around with heightened senses a lot. You can barely hear off in the distance wolf howls. A couple different packs out in the valley where the two villages are located.
I do have to actually make eye contact to communicate with animals at this point, don't I?
Mm-hmm. As far as I'm aware, I can double check, but I'm pretty sure you haven't got the ability to call them to you yet.
I do not. Unless you want to give me 4 experience points right now.
I'd rather not, but that's up to you, but I'd rather not.
It's not even 10. It's nothing.
Can I have 4 experience points right now?
I imagine there's folks that are set to guard our camp.
Yes, you were given enough guards to have guards through the night.
All right. Go through the day.
Through the day, sorry. The idea is that the guards will sleep at night and watch during the day.
If there is anybody who is available, I would like to give an instruction to start taking down trees along the edge of the...
There's very few trees where you're at, but you can go down a little bit down into the valley path and start finding trees to have them take them down.
Particularly any trees that would block a view of an approach.
Well, the two sides of the path, not a problem. The path down into the valley, you can have them start clearing some of that.
And for the wood to be gathered.
That's where they'll be gathering it to rebuild the fortress anyway.
Well, more so to get even if it's just a temporary, we want to make sure that there's some sort of barrier limiting access to the camp. Because right now it's just...
You want a basic fortification.
I want less sides for the guards to have to watch.
Got it. Okay.
I want, if we just get a wall up on the north, that means that the guards don't have to watch the north once the wall is completed and so forth.
And you leave those instructions with the guards. They grumble a bit about the lack of laborers to help, but they've been told who to follow and who to listen to, and it's not their opinions.
When you're done, you'll have less work to do because you'll have less that you need to watch. So, you can bear the responsibility of watching from all directions and not do it.
One mutters about, isn't it the way it is with soldiers? Dig trench here, put up wall there, move, dig a new trench, put up a new wall, move. A normal soldier grumbling. But as dawn is rapidly approaching, and you feel the sluggishness pulling to you as you return to the cellar,
I'm dropping into the ground.
you're going to meld into the ground?
Yep.
Okay.
I get hungry.
Oh. Right here, everybody. We're going to go to break. We will be back in 10 minutes. They now have a feel for what's going on around them. Let's see how they deal with it. And yes, Elena, I noted you telling your retainer to go to the villages to recruit laborers and such. So we will see everybody in 10 minutes. Enjoy the break. See, that's what happens when you mess with the werewolf, right? Welcome back, everybody. I think I wasn't subtle enough with the communicating packs for these group of players. They figured out there might be some lurking werewolves around. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? But as the day has progressed, and then the dusk begins to settle, with the settling of the dusk, and night falling, you wake from your undead slumber. Elena, one of your servants. Let's see, which one did you send to do the talking?
Hang on, let me see which ones I've got.
Matthias, maybe, or Bodhan?
Bodhan.
Bodhan?
Mm-hmm.
Bodhan, come back. Lady,
Yes.
I have brought back several dozen laborers from the villages. Each village can only spare the laborers for 2 days at a time so that they can still grow crops. But
Of course.
with all the surrounding villages,
We can take them in rotation.
I've managed to arrange payment
Good.
with them in rotation. We should be able to keep 2 dozen here on any given day to assist. And I've already made sure that the stonemason,
The craftsmen are pleased with this?
yes, and the laborers have begun clearing the remains of the old foundations.
Good. Good. Excellent work, Bodhan.
They've also brought a few of the women from the village to cook, handle laundry, and run between our camp and their villages.
Excellent. Any word on trade they might have been doing amongst the villages on this side versus theirs?
I asked about trade, and they don't do much of it. They do send a representative to town, bistras, they said, when they need things they cannot produce on their own. Metal goods, mainly. It seems there's no blacksmith in any of the 5 villages. I think
That's almost too convenient.
the way they said it, I get the feeling something bad happened to the one that used to be in the area.
Find out more.
I will do what I can.
I would like to know what bad happened. Because we cannot do without a blacksmith.
Yes, my lady. I know you had mentioned about the tablets. Do you wish for me tomorrow to dispatch the guards to take the tablets back to Bistras?
I believe Lucita Derelgon and Anatole agreed to take them. We may need the guards here a little bit longer due to certain wildlife that likes to prowl at night and possibly during the day.
Yes, my lady. Now, for everyone except Miguel, you're in the room where she was giving the report to Elena, because there's only one room.
No.
But thank you, Bodan. You did well.
I'll wait until he leaves to kind of step forward. Dama Elena, creating a blacksmithy as part of our toll establishment here, like that could bode impossibly great for this area.
Exactly. Miguel and I were talking last night that we may actually wish to institute a marketplace.
Brilliant.
It is another source of tax revenue.
I am the son of a blacksmith, so I have input that could be vital for creating a sustainable place here.
Excellent. Because if this is not only passage, but a trade center.
Correct. They could start to rival Beasters.
Maybe.
Hopefully the prince does not notice.
Well, it is still his lands.
All praise be to Radu.
Exactly.
Or maybe he will move here when he likes it so much.
Because who's to say our fortress is not a hospitable place?
Would we have the market surrounding the area or within the fortress itself?
I almost think the market should be passed through so that any doing passage will be enticed to purchase goods on their travels.
On on the trail through the pass, you and Miguel said that there were like lookout spots that had been destroyed.
Really could not see them. I was going by moonlight alone, but Miguel saw them. And he saw that they basically flattened areas where it appeared that at one point there may have been guard towers. I'm not aware of expansion out this far by the time I was in Torpor. But it is possible at some point there was, more security, as it were, because the pass was more heavily used.
Should we reestablish those or find some other mode to keep watch from that direction?
Let us await the engineer.
He will be helpful.
I am not one who does city design. I just know that it is human nature that when you see goods for sale and you are running short, you will buy.
A defended road is also a traveled road, so
true.
It bodes well to establish that again.
And I know we are only responsible for the fortress and surrounding area, but how far out should we expand whatever we set up? Should we try to have guards along into towns or simply near them?
I think near them to protect the towns. We don't want to be invaders. We want the people to have what they sense is their autonomy to the best of their ability. But they can trade and pay their tribute.
And tribute would be through the marketplace, not in addition to the taxes levied from purchasing goods.
A portion of their sales will be ours.
Oh, they would provide to the market as well. That makes far more sense.
And we will also collect taxes from travelers who are passing through. So no, we will not double tax the marketplace vendors. But we will ensure that travelers are taxed for passage, and then we receive revenue from the marketplace sales. 2 income sources in one location. It is smart
And you will have to ensure that eyes are kept out for potential thieves.
If nothing else, I can instruct people in how to spot them.
And who knows, maybe they may be of use to you if we capture them.
Can I?
They can be made to be useful.
That's true.
Can I sort of? When we seal ourselves in, is it like a space above us that we climb out of, or do we still
No,
just
you
walk
open the
out of
door.
an area?
You open
door has
the
a
hidden door.
latch.
And it's a wooden door faced with stone. From this side, you swing it open and it. On the other side, it looks like stone.
Yeah, we have a secret clubhouse.
Yeah.
I'd like to make my way out of the remaining structure as best I can and actually see if Miguel's nearby, or I can holler him
Miguel,
over.
you've woken. What are you doing when you first wake? Checking on what's going on?
I am looking for Anatole.
You don't see them at first. But as you are walking around, Anatole and Lucida hop over the remains of the foundation because the workers just got there this same day, so they haven't started clearing yet. You see the two of them hop over the foundations. Where they were, you have no idea. But they hop over what's left of the foundation and seem to be heading towards the cellar. And when Anatole sees you, hello, chosen. Have you seen the wisdom in my visions yet?
I do see that God speaks to you.
He doesn't speak. He shows me. It is up to me to see what he has shown me and understand it and relay it.
As of yet, I have not fully comprehended, perhaps. But I understand because of your connection. Your words are true.
If what I have seen comes to pass, don't worry. In time, you will understand. You will see it. You are important. You are a piece of his plan in all things. And you see Lucida tap him on the shoulder and whisper something in his ear. And he just nods. Yes, go, go, go. And Lucida leaves you with Anatole as she heads down into the cellar and runs into Snatcher. And we'll get to that in a second.
So, in your travels, have you learned much of how our kind has been how our records have been kept?
Why would I bother with that? Everything I need to know, the Lord shows me. That's all that matters. There's a mission. There is a goal. There is something to achieve. If anything is to be salvaged in the end. I don't have time for that.
I was told that there is wisdom to be gained from the one of us who knew God. And that there was perhaps a bit of his divine knowledge passed down through his teachings.
I know that many follow what they feel is their teachings, but a true vision, that That is what really sets the will, you see. Men can corrupt what is written. Men can change the word that is written. But if you get a vision and you see what he intends you to see, that can't be changed by some scholar with a quill. You could call it an illuminated manuscript in actual form.
One has taught me in such ways was also gifted with the voice from hearing the voice of divine, although she heard it in a different manner, not visions per se.
God reveals himself to everyone in his own way. And Anatoly starts, he gets closer to you. Would you like to see?
I would, of course, be open if you were willing to share
And he
the
reaches
message that as God provided you.
both hands out and cups the side of your face. And it hits you almost like a hammer blow. You see a land of forests and a land of mountains. And something shadowy over it all. And then you see, you can't understand what it is. They appear possibly birds or falcons fighting amongst themselves. And fire raining down. You see cities burning. Some things you don't even understand. And then it's all gone. Much of it, you know there was more, a lot more, but it flashed so quickly. And he takes his hands back. Now do you see?
It's starting to come into focus.
That is just one bit of what I've been shown. You are important to it, as are your friends. What you will do is important for all us Canaanites. God has faith in you. Thankfully, he does not require your faith in him.
I gather from speaking with my compatriots that I am the only one who has faith in him.
Then it is a good thing that the Lord does not care. The Lord is. And that's what
Yes.
matters.
I understand you are to depart on this night.
Yes, I am. That is what Lucida reminded me as she had to go and arrange to get the tablets so that we could depart and take them. She reminded me I have other places I was supposed to go. Visions that... the big problem with visions is they don't come to me if I stay in the same place for too long. I have to keep moving so that God can show me what is happening.
As a warning, there were the sounds heard from the western passage of multiple packs of wolves late into the evening.
Doesn't bother me. If it is the Lord's will that I make it to Bistriz to drop the tablets, then that is part of his plan. And if not, well, Lucida will at least give a good telling of herself. She's a good companion that way. Been a good friend to me.
Good. In your travels, you find yourself in the region of Bucharest. There is a village west along the river. After the split, there is a small convent. I believe Mother Constance would enjoy having your conversation with you of what you've seen and share with her what the angels have told her.
His eyes briefly glaze over. Then he looks back at you. If I travel through Budapest, I will speak with her.
Bucharest.
No.
More south than...
No, Buda and Pest. I don't always recognize what I see, but I recognize that city. I've been to it. The Lord has sent me there many a time. That is where she is.
That is where I last saw her. Thank you for your time.
Walk the path God has ordained. And he turns and just is waiting. Now we flash statue. You run into Lucida as she's heading down. She just kind of steps back and looks at you.
I'll step to the right.
And
Let her pass.
She just look, she gives you an odd look up and down. Does he block doors often, brother?
Locked doors? No. It's usually on the other side of them. He unlocks them.
Not recently. And I'll head up past Lucida, just giving like an acknowledgement and go up into the actual space.
Anatoly and us, and we must leave.
Oh yes.
It's
Do you
time
need
to
help
get
with the fragments here? Or?
Yes, you asked me to take them back to Bistriz. Are you sending any guards with them, or is it for just the two of us to bring
with
them
the skill
to...
that you have chosen, that you have shown me, the guards would be a detriment to you, I think. They would only slow you down.
Perhaps. The hard part is keeping my friend on track. He gets sidetracked with his visions.
Perhaps a leash, a leather strap around the neck.
Surely you jest.
Oh,
You don't
no.
collar friends.
Restraints can be very useful.
You don't collar friends.
Oh. If he consents to it, maybe around the waist. A little bit of knot work around the chest.
But if I did that, you see,
it.
here's the problem.
Oh, please tell me.
If I did
the
that,
problem.
he would not be able to find his visions. And my curiosity has been piqued for quite a while about where this is going. It's
Do
clear
you know
he
where it
sees
started?
He sees, I don't know. He is the clan of the moon, so I know that they have a reputation, but he's not mad. He is seeing something. What, sister? You think that is funny?
Oh, I'm not doubting he sees something. But he's certainly mad.
He just perceives different things than we do.
Oh, I agree. Like I said, I do not doubt he has the visions. But anyway, I would have a word with you before you leave, sister.
And she throws her pack down that she had on her back. And Snatcher, you're still in the room looking, right? Or did you go look for Miguel?
I'm like standing on the other side of the doorway now, but still like near enough to hear the conversation and stuff. Like I haven't walked entirely away just yet.
And she looks over at Peregrine. Can you put the tablets in my bag while I speak?
Peregrine's not in the room.
Oh, you left already?
Peregrine was out the door before they all were talking.
Can one of your servants please pack this while I am speaking with my sister?
Please, I will do this. I think it is best that I stay in the room in case something does not get swallowed the right way.
And she gets a smirk and looks over. I'm not a hunter yet.
Oh, this is a word to me. You did not find the young lady that I sent you to find.
Well, I found her.
Oh, okay. Good. Then you are starting to become a hunter.
And she turns, Elena? Sister?
Yes.
What words do you have for me before I set off?
I do not begrudge you your travels and your friend. At all.
Father sure does.
Dear sister, father is a moron.
I hope you don't express that opinion in front of him. From experience, his temper is...
Oh, it's notorious, I know. I hear he threw quite the temper tantrum when I went into torpor. That was voluntary, by the way. He doesn't know that. It was to send him back to Spain.
When his temper gets... When it slips the leash, he tends to take it out on those around him.
Then you should not be around him.
You know what the law of Cain says.
Oh, I do, but there are ways around it. Always look for the loophole, darling.
Well, yes, that's why I'm here. It's much harder to drag me home when he can't catch me in any one spot.
Keep that up as long as you can. And my advice to you, dear father is an idiot like most men. Always look for the loophole.
If you say so, I will do what I can.
It's just advice. You can take it and use it, or toss it aside. I do not hate you, sister. You are just young and have much to learn.
I am a quick learner, right, brother?
Yes. If I'm allowed to answer, I am an idiot, of course.
Of course you are. But see, you are a wiser idiot than most because you admit it.
Of course.
The moon is rising and we must get on our way.
Thank you, sister, for taking on this task.
And she grabs her pack. Thank you for allowing me to make a copy. And she heads out of the cellar. Snatcher, Miguel is looking. I'm not going to say discombobulated. Miguel has a haunted look in his eyes. He's kind of, because he kind of got hit with a vision he didn't normally
Yeah, I was about to
have.
say, did I see Anatoly brain fuck him or no?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You come out after that happened.
Miguel,
Yes, Snatcher.
actually, any chance I could do that lovely perception empathy thing again real quick?
Go ahead. I mean, I'll let you
Just
roll.
because, I mean, fuck, I talked to Anatoly last time, and he didn't make it exactly entertaining for me to talk to people either.
Miguel, are you trying to hide the fact that your brain is kind of mashed potatoes at the moment?
So kind of. He is going to play it off as if it doesn't bother him.
Okay, so perception, empathy for Snatcher. And what are you going to roll against that? Both of y'all have difficulty 6, but what are you rolling against it? Wouldn't be perception. Manipulation. Subterfuge, maybe? And that's the best I can really find there.
I mean, I don't suppose I could roll my willpower to act as it, because it's to kind of. Because it's not necessarily that he's going to be. He's trying to, like, through the power of his own will, force through the effects of Anatoly.
Let me check something real quick.
Shame there's no composure in this system. That'd make it easy.
Yeah, I know. I will let you roll. Man, you got a lot in your road at the time.
I could roll road as well.
Oh, that's your cap.
Yes.
I'll let you roll 7.
Okay.
Why not? You argued willpower. I like to let the players, pick what they're rolling.
Especially since the vision goes along with his road. I think that's fair.
And it isn't like you're directly lying. You're just trying to hide the processing of your brain being tore up. How many did you get, Snatcher?
You said it was regular diff or higher?
6. You're both rolling 6.
Okay, that'd be 3 successes.
Okay, Miguel? 5. All you can tell is he's kind of. He is
filled with the spirit of the Lord.
Yeah, his eyes are slightly or his pupils are slightly dilated, and that's about it.
All right. We were discussing various crafts to start introducing to the surrounding villages, and I remember many a time hearing several of our number mention your craft skill with leather.
I am quite skilled with leather.
I do not suppose you
what would you like?
Oh, not for myself, but just to assist in teaching some of the other villagers. So that way we have as many disciplines for trade.
We will need a woodworker or mason to build. I have some access, but to fully practice my craft, I'll need better than the contents of my cards to work out of.
Understandable, and I'm sure we can arrange that.
We'll need a church as well.
A church.
Yes.
I just see no reason why it couldn't be built.
The people will. The villages don't seem to have a centralized location to give thanks and praise, and a place to reflect on the teachings of the Lord.
Perhaps we could add it as a addition to the fort.
We could.
If it is to be a marketplace, place of worship, wouldn't. I doubt it would be frowned upon. It all depends on the practices of the people.
Well, what Elena tells me, it'll be quite possible that they are Greek Orthodox, which is not ideal, but it's better than pagans.
I'm sure there are pagans amongst them as well.
There's a chance to spread the word of the Lord then. How delightful.
If the people are anything like the Canaanites, I doubt they will be an easy conversation.
Canaanites believe they know what the world is. They get a glimpse of the darkness and see only in the dark. Mortals have capability of embracing the holiness, more so than most of our kind do.
May we get your consultation?
Yes. Let's get the buildings going. What was rounded up? What did we have?
I am not the best for description, so I believe the others would be able to explain it more succinctly.
Miguel's going to glance around. Has anybody started working on anything?
They've started. Nothing has been started yet, though. You do see camp. Several tents have been set up. There's cook fires going. The laborers have come. You put it about 2 to 3 dozen. But considering if they just arrived, they were busy setting up their stuff, so they haven't had a chance to start clearing.
You probably want them to have more permanent residence than just tents.
Everything with time, I suppose.
Yes. Well, I suppose.
But it is worth taking note. I'm not used to being in a place with so much nature. It's interesting. I did some hunting at home, but nothing impressive.
Well, if there's a place to hone such skills, this one would be suitable.
If you have any information on how to interact with wolves as well, the most wild creatures I have spoken with were rats, and I'm certain living amongst a city and people is far different from living amongst the trees and the mountains. I'm not sure I would be able to communicate as well without knowing how they behave.
So he is going to pull his hood back, and there's going to be on the side of his neck two sort of scars. This was what happened the last time I interacted with a wolf. That was the night I was damned and reborn with the chance to serve God more directly. I have not interacted with one since that night.
My apologies for reminding you of pain.
It is not a painful memory. It reminds me of when I truly found my place in this world.
I may not understand it, but your devotion is admirable.
Before I became what I am, my sights were on the well-being of my own. Now there is a realization that I can affect the lives of so many more.
And the next effect shall be a fortress.
Of sorts, yes, yes. Anyways, let's continue.
Please. And I'll walk back with him to the basement.
Peregrine, as you are lurking in the ruins, a voice enters your mind. Peregrine, I am Vizier Abdan. Have you reached your location?
I have.
I pass a message from the fortress of Almut.
That is?
You are to do everything you can to get in the good graces of the fiends who run this land.
The human or our kind?
The fiends. Zemitsi. You are to be the viper kept close to the breast. Do what you must.
Understood. It will be done.
And you feel the link with the vizier break.
After hearing the conversation between Snatcher and Miguel, and quietly already slapping the tablet back into Augustine's bedroll with a ladder with a little note of telling him to melt for the money we need. She just hears all of this and it's too much, and she just finds a place, tries to meditate, and does her best not to cry. And keeps herself away from people. Or the best that she can.
And you know what? I think with that kind of a heavy statement, I think this is actually a good place to end this episode, unless anyone else has something they feel more pressing than that kind of heavy heart smash. Anyone? Then I guess this is where we're going to end Season 1, Episode 4 of Vampire Dark Ages Glimpses of History. It has been a interesting time as they've set up here. They've learned a bit about their surroundings. They've got their workmen, and now they're waiting on the architect. which we'll be doing a time skip for the next few days, I'm sure. We can't do night to night in this kind of chronicle.
It'd be like 50 seasons long.
if not longer. Longer than we're alive.
Think of all the XP, though.
Yeah, I know. Everyone,
yeah, the only benefit.
Everyone gets 3 XP for tonight. Sorry, there was not a story milestone made tonight. Not yet. So everyone gets 3 XP. Please, everybody, join us on our Discord.
Wait a minute. I saw a vision of Gehenna, and that doesn't count as a milestone?
Nope.
Also, yeah, bucket list for Zach. You got a vision from the prophet himself. Holy fuck.
Yeah. And fucking Junie got mind voices. Like, that's 4 XP worth right there.
Nope. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're only getting 3.
Damn, bro.
I'm stingy. Just live with it. Of course.
How's that?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Junie, how's that mountain loyalty feeling now?
Pretty fucking cold.
It's going to be so good.
An Assamite, especially an Assamite warrior, is a tool. And if a tool is not useful and won't serve its purpose, then the tool is broken and a new tool is made. Even Peregrine understands that. She spent her time in the fortress. She learned what it meant to be what she is. So, please join us on our Discord. This is where we cast this show from. And so you know, I have an open casting call right now for a Modern Knights Vampire game. It's in the casting couch. It's for Kansas City, a domain divided. So if you're a member of our Discord, you can pop over to our casting couch, read the casting announcement, because there's some requirements for it to be in the show. But you can apply, message me and apply, and possibly join us in that chronicle when it kicks off. If you want to catch our back episodes, you do. We got the back episodes of this. We got the back episodes of our other World of Darkness, Windy City, Werewolf, Changeling, Mage, Demon, Wraith. We've done a lot of World of Darkness. We're not done yet, people. We got so much World of Darkness to do. So pop over to our YouTubes, catch that. Plus, you can catch things like Monster Hearts, which you'll see a couple of familiar faces in, Nighthawks, Bluebeard's Bride. We've had so much independent and World of Darkness and name brand things. And if you want to catch and get some Call of Cthulhu or D&D, pop over to the Ishvel channel. You can check that out there. If you want to see some amazing content creators, like over here, Ravenous Archon, down here, Junie, who's on the RPG table, check out their, right there, it's in chat, links to them. I'll give everybody a chance to say what they're doing after, right before the mental health statement. But I'm just getting this out now. Get your McStabber Studios merch. We've got merch. Get some merch. We don't have any Dark Ages merch yet. We'll figure something out, I'm sure. Find the loophole.
Find the loophole. That's
Quote
right.
Quotes.
Men are idiots.
Men are idiots.
Quote quotes.
Find
Yep.
the loophole.
And if you want to give something to the players in the streams, bits and donations, they go to the players, not to the studio. It is a way for you, the viewers, to give something back to the players. If you want to give something to the studio, subscribe on Twitch, pop it to our KoFi, or if you're watching on YouTube, just, subscribe to the channel. That's free. Like the video, comment on the video, hit the notification icon so you can find out when we post all this good content, because we're constantly posting content. And, wow, I think I did my part, and my wife can give the schedule.
All right. So coming up over the next week, we have on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Star Wars, run by Ravnos Archon here, featuring Junie Von Esch and other amazing role players. Tell us a little bit about the game.
It takes place 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, so it's in the whole Tales of the Jedi era. They are en route to meet Exar-Kun, who is a big name in the expanded literature. But right now they're dealing with assassins trying to take out Jedis. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I just need to know what the vibe check is there.
We need
Because
to roll for the vibe check.
yeah, we got to roll for the vibe check,
Vibe
from the droid. The droid doing the vibe check is great. You'd have to see it. Watch the episodes on our YouTube. It's pretty funny with the vibe check and droid.
Absolutely.
So
All right. And then on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, Tiss is here with our amazing crew of investigators in Call of Cthulhu 7E. London Esoteric Societies takes place right after the turn of 1900 as they investigate all the sus cult shit and do all the things that lead to insanity. You want to join them on Saturday.
We sure do.
On Sunday.
Nope, this is the off Sunday.
I know, I'm saying. On Sunday, there is no stream. We are taking one Sunday off as a break. And then we will be back here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. The next installment of Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages.
But we may be taking this Sunday off, the following Sunday, July 9th. Sunday, July 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern, Bloodied Fields is back. We're finally going to get to go back to that story.
Yeah.
Because we've got the slot open and we might as well use it.
The Hotel California story in Vampire.
Yep.
Living it up.
Where some people seem to think they're going to survive. I don't
they
know
may
why.
survive, but they won't leave.
We'll see how
Goblin
that
roads
goes.
aren't shit.
Hey, it's such a lovely place.
It's such a lovely place, all the cornfields.
Such a lovely face.
So, tell us what you're doing there, Ravnos Archon. What you got going on?
Ooh, I aside from Twitching, from doing Twitch stuff on my own channel, where you can catch my own V5 Vampire the Masquerade game set in 1984. I also do. We're on break right now for L5R, Legend of the Five Rings, and Werewolf of the Wild West. But every other Thursday we do 7C, which is one of my new favorite systems. And right now here you can catch me on Wednesdays and Fridays because you guys let me get away with some shenanigans.
Yeah, I know. We do. I don't know why, but we do. We like you, apparently. I don't know.
It's the facial hair.
I mean, it is pretty impressive.
Said. That's what he said.
Your beard bros.
I mean, if we're
It's
going by the
it's-
facial hair, I mean, we can go to the next person. This is a great transition. Tell us what you're doing there, Zach.
Hello, I am Zachary Naldrick, he, him. I can be found on the Mastodons at Zach Rules at dice.camp. And then there's this hell site which lied about suspending me. I'm at Zach Rules there. I'm not really on other social media platforms. I have a name staked out there, but I don't do anything there, so don't look for me. I do have a website that has links to all my writing stuff. And watch out for House of Apocalypse coming out soon for Werewolf 20th.
Can't your stuff also be found on Storyteller's Vault?
The link has everything. I
Oh,
can't.
brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
One-stop shopping.
Maybe if he sends me a
Smart.
message, I'll put a chat command in that we can just hit one chat and put multiple links. We can always do that too. Hit me up because the bot's on my end, not on the net. I control my bot. So, Junie, what about you?
You
What
tell
are you
your
up to?
bot what to do.
I tell the bot what to do when it's not crashed. Junie, what you got?
Yeah. Well, you can find me pretty much on the internet. Hi, how are you? I am a storyteller on the RPA table. I have my own channel as well. You also find me on Roll Call on Sundays for DC by Night. You'll find me every other Thursday on this Twitch channel. He's here. He's in chat. He runs 7C, you know, and he likes to torture my life there. And then also, you'll see me here on Fridays being tortured again by the same storyteller. I don't know why. And he likes to give me a lot of emotional trauma, a lot of emotional damage.
So many accoutrements in his
Emotional
portfolio.
damage.
Oh, no. It's not the accoutrement at all. It's more of the emotional damage you like to turn around and just like feed into my brain. The spaghetti and macaroni, y'all.
He just likes to see you drink after the stream. That's all.
Wait,
Or during the stream.
after the stream,
Yeah.
I was drinking during the
Yeah.
stream.
So, Maddox, you can tell people what you got going on, which is
Currently looking for a new job, so that's fun. I
can't pay you enough.
I don't internet personality.
you can find Maddox here on the Vampire Dark Ages. If you watch our YouTubes, you'll see him as Alessandro Giovanni in our Windy City Chronicle that just ended. And you can also find him in our Demon stream that is on season break until I get around to finding time for season 3.
I have a surprising backlog for not being with you guys all that long.
You do. Monster Hearts. You've been in a number of things. So, and as always, everybody, when we end these streams, mental health, it's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please take mental health seriously. Check in on those around you. Check in on people you haven't heard from, family, friends, loved ones. Even if you've heard from them, please check in on them, because a lot of people, they're good at masking and they may not be okay, even though you think they are. So please check in on them. And if you suffer from mental health issues, like many people out there do, myself included, first of all, it's okay to not be okay. There's nothing wrong with admitting it. And reach out to your own support network, because you need assistance once in a while. Everybody does. But if you feel you can't reach out to your own support network, because it is what it is, everybody, in chat's a list of numbers you can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There will be a professional on the other end of the line who will help you go through whatever you're dealing with and to be the lifeline you need, because mental health is health. And if you're not in the U.S., because I know we have non-U.S. viewers, find a helpline.com. Put in your country of origin, find out the helplines that are available in your country to get you the support you need, because whether you watch or stream or not, we want you to be around for a long time. So please, mental health is health. Take it seriously. And now I can turn it over to my wife for the final portion of our outro.
And along with mental health, physical health is also important, because the two go together. The mind and the body, they work in conjunction. As one goes, so the other goes. So if you take care of one, the other one will follow. Get your vaccines, please. Get your boosters if you need them. Get your preventative screenings done if you are due or overdue. Those of us over certain ages need to get those done for sure. I'm looking at my husband. But yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I ain't going to divulge your personal medical information like that. But
that's against HIPAA.
Probably against hippos too.
But seriously, take care of that. And if you are not feeling well, go get checked out for real. And if you're due for your physicals or checkups, go get that done for real. For real, just go do it. Take care of you, because we want you around for a long time, for real. And make sure that you are registered, if you are in the U.S., that you are registered to vote. If you are in Republican-controlled locations, whether that be state or even local, like county, city, whatever have you in your area, you need to double-check your registration if you are a Democrat, because there is noted in the past few election cycles that Republican-controlled election boards have just basically, canceled registrations of Democrats, especially minority ones. So please, it is voter suppression. It is voter suppression. It's making it more challenging for people to be able to vote, because they have to go through the process of re-registering first. So please make sure you're registered as we get closer to the election in 2024. And please vote for those that are not actively trying to take away human rights from people. Please.
Don't vote for those banning books, please.
Don't vote for those trying to ban reproductive care. Don't vote for those trying to ban transgender, gender affirming care. Because that affects more than just trans folks, y'all. More than just trans folks. Just like reproductive care affects more than just women. Literally, in states that have bans, maternal deaths are increasing. Infant mortalities are increasing. It don't just hurt the women, it hurts the babies too. So please, vote with, humanity. For goodness sakes. Said with love. Oh, and Putin can eat a giant dick.
Yeah. Fuck Putin. We like saying fuck Putin here. And I do want to thank the players and the viewers. Welcome to Dark Ages, everybody. Lupine lurking about. And God knows how many failed perception awareness checks or alertness checks tonight.
And a fucking religious fundamentalist gangrel. What the fuck do we have
I love
on our hands?
I love it.
I started paying attention.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.